Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. We are here live Tuesday with some MLB DFS picks, lineup advice, strategy. It's a live Q&A, FanDuel, DraftKings, Yahoo. It's Tuesday, May 10th. We're here for about 30 minutes to answer your questions, break down tonight's MLB DFS slate across all of the sites. Welcome. I am Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy. Special guest who's been hot on the podcast scene lately. It's Swag Lord Ken. He writes the League of Legends daily plug for us at OccupyFantasy.com. And he also is a great small field GPP player, so I love having him on the show. Kim, what's up, man?
How's it going? I'm not doing too bad. I'm still recovering from last night where somehow I didn't win money with the Angel stacks, but we're ready to get back at it again today.
Dude, me too. I know. I woke up. First of all, I went to bed not even cashing. And I was like, well, it's a miracle if I get any dollars back. And I woke up and got the DraftKings notification that I did win some money. And I was like, how the hell did that happen? And I woke up and saw Ohtani and Trout went off. So that certainly helps. But didn't get my money back. I saw you got, what, fifth or sixth in the Monster. Were you close to winning that?
I mean, I was close in the sense where I had the players, and in the end, it was a 2v2 that I lost out on, where I had Gore and Rodon in my pool, but I just had the wrong pitcher in the Angels lineup. So in hindsight, I would have liked Rodon there, but so it was pretty close, but not there.
Definitely close. I saw you, and Ken's been getting close here on FanDuel all season. In MLB has won a couple. I've seen you gotten close and won a couple on DraftKings as well. So we'll pick Ken's brain here over the next 25 to 30 minutes. If you guys have questions, throw it in the live chat here. We will happily answer them about tonight's slate. If you have specific questions about stacks, pitchers, lineup constructions, whatever it may be, let us know. Or if you just have general DFS questions, we are happy to answer them. And we just had Ken on the Emotional Bankroll podcast with his crazy story about doubling his bankroll essentially during the NFL draft. And Ken, thanks again for coming on that. For those of you who haven't watched it, you can go check it out. Just Google Emotional Bankroll. We also have it here in a playlist on YouTube. So, Ken, we got some good responses so far.
Yeah, no, that was fun. I gotta get my friends to tune in, so maybe expect the comments of Swagler 10 fan club. We'll chime in soon there.
Yeah, man, we need the true friend support to bump up the numbers. So yeah, definitely get them on board. All right, so let's look at tonight's slate. I have DraftKings up. We can talk about FanDuel if we want as well. We can bring up the model. I have Verlander and Nola slotted in as just the two pitchers on this particular lineup, Kim. I guess let's just start from a very high level for tonight's slate because we had a question in our Discord last night, which, by the way, if you're not a member, just click the join button below this video to chat with us and sweat the games out. We had a question about how to determine stacks. And, I mean, you could probably win a Nobel Prize, Ken, if you could come up with a scientific way to pick stacks every single night, because seemingly there are different ways to get to different answers, different ways to get to the same answers. Ownership is involved. There's various metrics. I seemingly change it up every couple days, every couple weeks. And as you and I were talking before the stream, on those days when you're not winning, it feels like you're just throwing darts and it feels like there could be better ways to pick stacks. So in this particular moment, Ken, what are you looking at for tonight's slate to choose some of your stacks for your lineups?
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes it feels like it's hard and you just keep on losing. But for today's slate, it's a bigger slate, so I don't think ownership's too big of a deal. Like, there won't be one kind of five-man stack that will be too popular. So on slates like this, I actually just look at the top, and I like to pick kind of the couple of the top stacks. Another thing I look at, big one, is a team total move. If they got, movement in the betting markets, like, I like to bet. I think it's impactful. So, I mean, I'm looking at like Tampa Bay here, and the Yankees are the ones I really like as well, and then even Arizona. So on the bigger slates, I just look at the stacks kind of near the top to help me decide.
Yeah, so if you look at the stack dashboard today, and again, this is at OccupyFantasy.com. If you don't have access, it ranks every stack on the slate, shows the metrics, the rankings in each metric and category. And the TT move column, team total move, basically what it does is it looks at the money line in total, and that determines a team's expected team total for the game. And then we track it once that first comes out over the course of the day. And whether that moves up or down determines this team total move. So if you look at it as of 5:35 p.m. Eastern, we see that the Yankees have the highest team total move on the slate, where their team total now sits at roughly 4.59 runs. When we checked it out when the lines first opened, either overnight or this morning, their team total was 4.1. So that's a difference of plus 0.49 runs. That's a massive move in the betting markets. And Ken, I mean, they fit a lot of different areas because not only do we sort by OF index. They have the third highest combined OF index on the slate for us, according to our metrics. They have the first power rated number one ISO ranking on the slate. And then, as we see, weighted on base average carries a lot of, for lack of a better word, weight when it comes to stack performance. And they have a top four weighted on base average. Their team total is top five. They have the highest team total move, yet they're only 22% projected on DraftKings. To me, that just doesn't add up. I'm kind of wondering why they're so low owned. I assume it has something to do with pricing, whether it's on DraftKings or FanDuel.
Yeah, it's hard to say. The size of the slate is definitely a big thing, but actually, before the lineups came out, Kikuchi had a higher Ks per inning projection, the pitcher that the Yankees are facing. And so once the lineups came out, that number is actually lowered, which probably explains the team total move. Probably easier matchup for the Yankees as well. Another reason I like the stack, I mean, they fill out a couple positions on DraftKings. So Higashioka, he plays catcher, he's ranked highly. And then even Gleyber Torres and Josh Donaldson, there's some infielders that you can fit in. And as well as we don't have Rizzo that high, so it leaves a first baseman if you want to look at a secondary stack or something like that. So I like the Yankees. They're not too expensive, especially with pitching is all over the place tonight. And on FanDuel, they're not too bad as well. So yeah, I'm definitely on the Yankees tonight.
For sure, I think I will be too, and especially once this stream ends, I'll get a Yankees lineup loaded into my contest for sure. And you mentioned the positional aspect, and I think this is another key factor because I've seen you talk about this in our Discord before, where sometimes whether you're breaking ties or whether you're just looking at it initially, that there are some positions that are really tough to fill out on most nights: second base, third base, shortstop, right, catcher, even on DraftKings. And by looking at teams that have those positions rated highly within their stack, a lot of times that can give you correlation at positions that are extremely tough to normally put a guy in. So how often are you looking at that? How much do you weight that for various stacks?
I love weighing them. I do consider it heavily. If you look at the shortstops today, actually, Miami and Tampa Bay are 1 and 2 in our model, and they're also 1 and 2 in terms of shortstops in the model. So those are definitely two teams I will look at as well. The top hitter in the model is a catcher from Tampa, so Zunino is the top catcher in Tampa. I mean, that's another reason. Consider the Rays stack. They also have, second baseman Brandon Lau, so they fill out a lot of positions as well. Miami is also a good stack, so I think it all lines up as a good slate tonight, and then you can fill in with a bunch of one-offs. So I know on FanDuel there's a bigger monster tonight. Maybe you have some tickets to that. So even in the larger field contests, you can fill out some one-offs with some good outfielders. And for one-offs, I'm looking at StatCast data. So I'm utilizing a lot of that because I'm looking for home runs for my guys. So just going from top down to model, I like Buxton and Trout and Salvador Perez tonight.
Yeah, no surprise that Buxton has some of the greatest StatCast data. He's been absolutely crushing this year. Let me see if you can get this on screen here, where if you could scroll to the far right of the model, the exit velocity, batted ball distance, this is their ranking over the last couple of weeks. So in the entire league, Buxton ranks 7th in exit velocity. Balls in play, how hard they've been hit, he ranks 7th in the entire league. And batted ball distance, how far balls have traveled when he hits them. Doesn't matter if they're hits or outs, it's just how, once they're in play, that's how they're measured. 10th highest or 10th farthest batted ball distance. So, yeah, got to like Buxton when you look at those metrics as well. And Zunino, you mentioned, let me go back and sort by OF index here. It's nice because we get him batting 6th. Normally, we see him as a high-rated catcher. He's batting 8th or 9th. And it's a little bit tougher to correlate with Tampa Bay stacks, but batting 6th, that's huge. So I'd love to see him bumped up in the team's lineup. That helps. From all angles. And then you mentioned the monster's a little bit bigger tonight. How big is it tonight, and are you planning on playing?
Yeah, I've got a couple tickets, so I only have 2 tickets. Usually I do like the smaller monsters because I'm a small field player, but it's about, I think, 760 for entries today. So yeah, but I'll back up the tickets with I'll enter some kind of smaller contest, so I'll be in your 100 player leagues as well tonight.
Sweet. Sounds good. All right, so it's 5:40. We're here for another 15 or 20 minutes. If you guys have questions, just shout them out in the YouTube chat there to the right of the screen. We'll happily answer them. So let's talk about pitchers some tonight, Kim. And as I hinted at the top of the show, Verlander and Nola lead the model. Let's give this a quick refresh to make sure we got the most updated lineups. And as you mentioned, when Kikuchi's strikeout number decreased, when the Yankees lineup came out, this is just a reminder that both hitters and pitchers, it's matchup based. Their rankings are matchup based. So you will see pitchers move up and down throughout the model throughout the day as lineups are projected change and as official lineups come in. So make sure you're checking back often and checking in to see if anything has moved when lineups come in. So yeah, nothing really has changed as of the last 10 minutes or so. But Verlander, Nola, number 1 and number 2. Anybody else outside of those two guys that stick out to you?
I think for pitching tonight, actually, I hate them. Like, I don't like a single thing on the pitching tonight. Just because I think there are some downsides even with Verlander and Nola, these top guys. So Verlander's,
yeah, why
Verlander's. I mean, he's 39 or 40. I don't even know how old he is. And I mean, last outing he didn't really strike anyone out. So we're looking for strikeouts. And on a bigger slate, I think there's like one of these guys in the lower range that will just crush. So you're trying to nail one of these lower guys. And Nola, I know my Mariners are struggling, but he's given up some decent stat casts as well. So he's getting hit hard as well. I did go down to Clevenger. He's got good stat casts, but he had Tommy John, I think. So he hasn't pitched. He didn't pitch last year. He made his debut like literally last game. And then we keep going down. I mean, Kyle Wright's a rookie, so I don't know if I can trust him. And Severino hasn't pitched as well. And Giolito, Giolito and Robbie Ray, they don't have good strikeout projections for what they normally usually are. So it's a tough pitching slate. I think it's easy to pay up for batters. On DraftKings, Clevenger will be a popular kind of like SP2. I don't mind that because he gets an easy matchup with the Cubs. On FanDuel, I had some Verlander, and then if you want to pay up for bats, so I'm big on Buxton and Trout because there are some 8 to 7K guys I like, and actually I slot in Carrasco, but I think that might change. But the Nationals are easy matchup, and Carrasco's got good StatCast numbers, and he's got a long leash. But I think there are major question marks on all-around pitching tonight.
Other than that, it's great at pitching, aside from everything Ken just said, right? Ken, Chris is in the chat. It says, just announced the Whitlock play already. You playing any Garrett Whitlock?
Dude, I mean, they like the model loves him. They got a good K projection. But I just don't know about the pitch count. I read an article who's written by the Boston Globe, so I don't even know if it's legit, but it's like if he's tired at 70 pitches or 75, they'll just pull him. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, but there's also a good chance he just crushes. But I think the max you get is like 5 innings, unless he crushes, and then it's maybe 6 innings. So you're not going to get more than that. That's something I question. But he's got a good projection where it's definitely viable to play him, but I think I'd rather play Severino or someone else in that price range.
Yeah, and I think I've come around to this year as well. In the past, I'd play these type of guys knowing that, yeah, if things break right, they can do well for their price. But the margin for error is so thin. If just 1 or 2 at-bats go wrong, now they're pitching less than 5 innings. They can't pick up the win. On FanDuel, they can't pick up the quality start. And this was always, at least for me in the past, using these guys in an effort to fully 5-man stack some of these more expensive bats. But as we've seen this year, scoring's down a little bit, and I think it's definitely more important to get guys that you know are going to pitch 5 innings. And even if Whitlock or some of these other guys, I'm trying to think like Tyler Wells, right, always pops in the model for Baltimore. Those types of plays where, yeah, if they go 5 innings, they might be able to return value, but it's such a thin margin for them to hit 5 innings. So I agree. I think Whitlock is a good play in the vacuum, but as far as DFS goes in the context of what you're trying to do for a slate, it makes it really tough to play him. So let's see, it's 5:45, 15 more minutes. You guys have questions, throw them in the chat. Ken, I've noticed this year is some of these uncorrelated lineups winning. I've noticed some, even in small fields, some non-5-3 stacks on DraftKings, non-5-2-1s, non-4-4s, non-4-3-1s on FanDuel. Do you have any opinion on the scoring being down so far this year? Any opinions on if lineup constructions have moved or changed any at all for MLB DFS?
Yeah, it's hard to say because in baseball there's so much variance where you kind of just assume that things will bounce back, but now we've seen betting markets kind of adjust and totals are way down. Like I've seen some 6.5s and sevens, and you don't really see that unless like DeGrom's pitching. So I mean I don't. The baseballs are probably different. Like they're not as juiced, but like you could also attribute it to like maybe lack of spring training and the batters aren't there, but that's hard to say. It's hard to come up with stuff. I'll trust that Vegas is kind of near there, like directionally correct, and that scoring is down. So you mean I think you see more one offs get there, just because of how it is. So I tend to put a focus more on pitching, on like FanDuel and DraftKings. Like you really want to nail pitching because if scoring's down, technically pitching has the highest upside. On FanDuel, they can get you 40, 50 points in your pitching. On DraftKings, I mean, you're looking for 30 points from your pitchers as well. So I'm open to paying up for pitching. Unfortunately, this is not a good slate to do so, but if Scherzer or any top guys are pitching slate, like Rodon yesterday was an easy one that I wish I had paid up for. But so pitching definitely have to nail, I think, in the lineup construction this year.
Yeah, for sure. So when you're focusing more on pitching, does that mean you're playing less typical constructions, or are you just playing flat out cheaper stacks?
Yeah, I'm just willing to play out cheaper stacks. A nice thing about cheaper stacks is they're also usually not as popular unless they're just kind of mispriced. But DraftKings does a pretty good job with the pricing, so they might be lower in the model, maybe mid tier in the model, but they're cheap enough. And I'm also looking at positions and stuff like that, so they're cheap enough to help jam in pitching. I think it's super important on FanDuel that you get a top pitcher. So definitely look for just players who kind of less than 3K on FanDuel as well.
Yeah, and we see a lot of those types of guys on FanDuel, right? And if we just go back to the model really quickly, we look at guys near the top, right? I mean, first of all, it is crazy to me tonight that the two highest ranked hitters in the model are catchers. And we know that in history, right, historically, catchers always get way lower ownership on FanDuel because it's just not required as a position. So love to see that for tournaments tonight as well. But then you have guys like Garrett Cooper, who's batting third. Miami's a top stack. He's only 2,500. I guess that lineup's projected. We don't know for sure if he's hitting third yet. But, the other Miami hitter, Soler, he's 3K. Reese Hoskins, 2,900. Like a bunch of guys in the top half of the model that are sub 3K. So certainly see the merits of that. Now, the Prince in the chat says home run calls. Ken, I don't know if you I know you bet a lot of strikeout props. Do you ever bet home run props? And if so, do you have any calls for tonight?
I don't bet many home run props, but I do know I think there's an edge there if you put the work in. But I will give kind of a bet that correlates with this home run call, and he did it twice yesterday. But it's Otani to hit another one today, and actually I bet him to win MVP yesterday at some good numbers. So a major sharp sports book. Awards kind of sharp on awards. They moved them to -110 this morning. There's still probably plus 300s hanging out there on and I don't know. I just want to talk about him because I think what he's doing is just insane. Like he's one of the best pitchers in the league right now, and he can hit home runs and grand slams and stuff like that. So definitely look at him for MVP. I got some 450, but I think 300s and stuff like that still around.
Dude, I mean, what he's doing is actually just insane to think about, right? I mean, he's done it so much in the past year that at least I've become kind of desensitized to it. But if you do take a step back and just think like, holy shit, this guy is pitching at a high level, and anytime he's hitting, he's just dropping bombs, right? So I have the AccuProp Radar up, which is our prop comparison tool if you're in a legal sports betting state. You can type in a player's name, game, or team and get all of the props and see the lines at our partner sportsbook. So if I type in Otani, I can go down to AL MVP. And you said a prominent sharp sportsbook can move him to -110. And at FanDuel, he's still plus 220. Caesars plus 250. PointsBet plus 275. And MGM, he's still plus 350. So yeah, if a sharper book has him at -110, Line Shop and use our link with the MGM, BetMGM, and get the deposit bonus and place that deposit bonus on Ohtani to win MVP. I mean, this is how you won so much on the draft props, right? Line shopping, seeing what sharp books have moved, and picking off better numbers, right? So, I mean, plus 350 compared to minus 110, that's huge.
Yeah, definitely go. He's definitely going 0-4 today, now that I've said that.
Well, yeah, for sure. For sure. So that just means you got to bet him under a half a hit, plus 140, right? And then go bet him MVP. And do you have any other futures lined up so far this year besides that Ohtani bet you made yesterday?
Yeah, I've got a bunch. I've got Ohtani Cy Young. I've got some of that as well. You can probably still get double digits on that. But so actually, he pitches tomorrow, and if he plays like that, like what he did against Boston, maybe 10 strikeouts, 7 innings, then definitely get some of that. Think about some sportsbooks that they leave awards up when performances are happening. So if you can capitalize on that, that's a good way. Another one is I'll shout out Julio Rodriguez from the Mariners. I've got him to win. Yeah, I've got him to win some Rookie of the Year. And actually, he's been like the only hitter that's playing on Seattle right now. So I don't think anyone else is doing anything. So the power's not there, but hopefully we'll get something there. And then the Astros got a good Correa replacement in Jeremy Pena. I'm sure if you played the Astros, you probably stacked them. So they're doing a smart thing as well, and they're co-favorites for kind of AL Rookie of the Year right now. But I think Rodriguez probably he'll go ahead the longer goes. And then some NL Rookie of the Year, I took a long shot. So look out for this one. The Marlins probably will call up a pitcher named Max Meyer, and he's maybe 40-50 to 1, and he's doing pretty good in AAA. But so they'll call him up, I think, this week or something pretty soon. So if you still get some long numbers on him, he's apparently supposed to be pretty good. So definitely look out for that one.
I mean, that's super sharp to take someone who hasn't even been called up to the bigs yet. And I'm looking here, and PointsBet still has him at 33 to 1. Some of the lowest Caesars have him at 16 to 1, but the consensus seems to be in that 2,000 to 2,500 range. You think it's still worth it there, especially at PointsBet 3,300?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough number, but actually NL Rookie of the Year, there isn't really a clear front runner because Suzuki from the Cubs is just like minus 150 or something. But he might cool down, and then Mackenzie Gore is the next guy, and then after that there isn't really anyone. So that race is wide open. So it's not bad to kind of sprinkle on that one.
Well, I'll be interested to see how Meyer performs when he gets called up. I'll keep an eye out for that news. The Prince in the chat says Cooper is 0 for 10 against Madison Bumgarner. Ken, I have a feeling where you lie on the hitter versus pitcher debate, and I am always of the belief that, and again, if you've ever played baseball, if you ever played sports, you know that there are just some pitchers you can't hit, right? Like in whatever level of baseball, there may be a guy that you literally just don't see the ball well. But there's some guys that you do see the ball well, and you just get unlucky. And the fact is that hitter versus pitcher is such a small sample that it's hard to distinguish what is noise and what is the truth. So Cooper is 0-10 versus Madison Bumgarner. That may be because he doesn't see Bumgarner well, or it may just be that it's pure variance. So Ken, I assume you never take hitter versus pitcher into account, right?
Yeah, it's not something I take into account. He probably hits the ball hard. Also, maybe his prime Bumgarner. He's actually pretty bad now. And even his last start, he got ejected for being so bad. At least that's what I think happened. But
wait,
what
was the story there? I saw the umpire looked at his hand, and then he got thrown out. But what was the whole story there?
He had threw a pitch that was borderline, but on the screen it was a ball, so it was called correctly. But Bumgarner wasn't too happy, and then they did a hand check at the end of the inning, and the umpire decided to go full Macho Man and stared him down as well, and then baited him into injection. So that's what happened there.
Show. Got to show why the people tuned in is to see the umpires for sure. Yeah. All right, 5:54. 6 more minutes left in the show. If you guys have any final questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. Let's see here. Coming up down the line, we have MLB videos every single day of the weekdays, Monday through Friday. Thursday will be a live stream in the morning because it is an early slate. Tomorrow and Friday, Chris will pre-record the videos and get them out before noon for the late slates. Saturday, nothing on Saturday. Sunday, we'll be back with a live stream. UFC video is on Friday. And Ken, I gotta keep the content coming for UFC, right?
Dude, you have to. And actually, you've done so much content. I might even dip my toes into some UFC this weekend. And I'm like the worst MMA player, because it's just so tilting to lose on the first fight or whatever. But you've done so much content that actually I think I could probably look to capitalize on Edge. So you don't want to see me in your contest soon.
I don't, and that's my biggest fear doing all this content, right? And I'm afraid the field's going to catch up to me. But I tweeted out yesterday. I think it was yesterday, the day before. No, it was on Saturday before the win. I said, at the risk of someone else winning 200K, here's 3 videos I've done recently. So go check those out. Did the one with Moose where I talked about some strategies. Did one with Blender, who is Blender HD, his Theory of DFS podcast. We talk about a lot of MMA stuff there. And then Jake and I's video that we do every Friday. Tune in there. We're doing some more content, but encourage everyone to play. And the biggest thing for me is I love the sport, the DFS sport, and seeing the content out there, and that's making more people want to play, which, one, yes, let's get more money in those contests. I obviously love to see that. But two, I think other people should play it as well. So certainly love hearing that. Just stay out of my contest. Don't be winning the monster on me or whatever if I'm in it.
Yeah, I'm also wondering if like you clearly like watching UFC. Like, do you have any favorite fighters, or usually you just judge by exposures or anything like that?
No, that's the fucked up thing, right? Because other sports like baseball tonight, I like the Orioles, they're the hometown team for me, but it doesn't affect anything, right? Like football, I don't have a favorite team. Basketball, I don't have a favorite team. But UFC, because I got into it right when COVID started, and there were fighters making their debuts around that time. A lot of those guys I really like: Chimaev, Romanov, Casey O'Neill, like those fighters. So I really want them to win when they fight. I don't let it affect my exposures, but it certainly affects my rooting interest when the fights are on.
Yeah, it's a hard. I guess it's one of the downsides to betting or gambling, that you kind of lose like a favorite team or a favorite player. But I like baseball. Baseball, you can still kind of root for everyone, because it's not like a player or anything. So definitely a big baseball fan that way.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, 3 minutes left, and we'll let you get out of here. Any final questions about baseball tonight or anything in general, just throw it in the chat. We'll be in Discord all night. We're in Discord pretty much every single day. If you listen to Ken's podcast, we don't leave our houses. So we'll gladly be in Discord and chop it up with you. OccupyFantasy.com/Discord. Click the join button below this video to join. The Occupy model, Occuprop radar, everything you saw on screen here is at OccupyFantasy.com. Membership link is in the description as well. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, get notified when we go live, upload any new videos for MLB or any other sport, and give us a thumbs up. That lets us know you like the baseball videos and that we should continue to make more of these throughout the rest of the season. All right, Ken, final calls tonight. Who is going to be the top scoring pitcher and who's going to be the top scoring stack?
Uh, I'll say the Yankees, just because they've got a good move, and I'm playing them on both sides tonight. So the Yankees are the high stack. For top pitcher, I gotta go someone with Carrasco, because I clicked on him. He doesn't rank highly, but I think there's something there tonight. How about you?
Ooh, Carrasco. So Carrasco, just to give you some justification here, does have the fourth highest money line. We know it's a little more predictive on FanDuel, where the quality starts are more important. Gotta love the Yankees call, right? If I'm gonna be playing them as well. For me, I guess I'll go with. Let's see. All right. So who's the worst ranked pitcher in our model tonight? Look at OF Index.
It's Quantrill. I don't think it's Quantrill, but he grades out really badly. He's like the worst pitcher in the whole league this day.
Yeah, so Packy Naughton is the worst pitcher, but that's only because he's an opener and pitching one inning.
Yeah.
The worst actual pitcher is Cal Quantrill, who has a K per innings pitch projection of just 0.56 runs. He's a plus 155 underdog, which means we should be stacking the White Sox, especially if Ken characterizes him as the worst pitcher in the league. And the White Sox have the third highest team total, 13% ownership on DraftKings. Team total is moving in their favor. High WOBA. All right, I'm on board. We'll say Chicago gets it done as the top stack. Let me adjust my exposures once this stream is done. And then for pitching, oh, man, I don't know, man. You taught me off Verlander and Nola. I was so ready to just lock these guys in my lineups. I will go. Man, it's tough, dude. I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll say Nola. I will go Nola. He's got a little bit of money line movement in his favor. I know it's against your Mariners, but I'll go Nola in the White Sox for my picks.
I like that. I hope Julio homers twice, and then
That's fine.
he can strike out. Yeah,
Just do it against the bullpen. I don't care. Just don't do it against Nola. So.
yeah, that works too.
All right, that'll do it for this video. We appreciate you listening. As always, you can follow Ken on Twitter at SwagLordKen. He doesn't really post much, but you can go follow him anyways. The biggest thing is go check out his recent interview he did with me on the Emotional Bankroll Podcast, episode 13. It's in your favorite podcast app. It's also here on YouTube where Ken talks about his amazing story where he just basically doubled his entire gambling bankroll by betting on the NFL draft. It's an interesting story. Go check that out. You can follow me on Twitter at BrianJesterFF. Follow us at Occupy Fantasy. Discord, website, subscribe to YouTube. Do it all to support and to get notified of any new content. So appreciate it. Ken, any final thoughts?
No, good luck tonight. Hopefully we'll win.
Sounds good. I like that. Good luck to everyone out there listening, and we'll talk to you soon.